Hi everyone, I am Jasmine Ipel from Group 5 and our topic is about the history on Philippine education. So as your first speaker, I am tasked to give an introduction and to discuss the definition of terms for our vocabulary and for us to have a smooth discussion later on. So once again, I welcome you all to Group 5 discussion on the history of the Philippine education. So let's pretend as if we could peek through different timelines. So we're going to time travel. Let's say during prehistoric era and to the current educational system. Can you think of any comparison between the two different timelines? Well, I think you have many things in mind. But let me tell you one comparison that I have observed. I bet you're all familiar with these two different photos in the screen. So the first photo is the Philippine alibata and the second one is the English alphabet. Now, Philippine alibata and English alphabet are two different writing systems from two different timelines. These two writing systems represents different educational system and as well as different eras. However, we could interpret it into one same thing. It means that education already existed even before, may it be formal or informal. It could also mean that education doesn't only exist on the four corners of our classrooms. And teachers are not the only one who gives education to children. Because before, it is the parents or the elders that gives education to our children. So this is only one of the many things that we could observe from the timelines of the history of the Philippine education. The reporters after me will discuss further as we trace back the history of the Philippine education. All we could say as of now is that our educational system has gone several changes before we come up with the current one, and these changes had led us to many progress and development. So now, without further ado, let us discuss the definition of terms, starting off with compulsory. So compulsory, the pronunciation is on the screen. It is an adjective, and based on its lexical meaning, it is something that is required by the law or a rule and is obligatory. It means that when something is compulsory, we really have to do it. Otherwise, we will be sanctioned or punished. For example, wearing a face mask during pandemic is compulsory. So if you are caught not wearing a face mask, you have to pay a fine of 500 pesos for the first offense because there is a mandate that everyone should wear a mask. It is compulsory. The next one is commission. So commission is a noun. It is a group of people officially charged with a particular function. This means that a specific group has given a task to perform. For example, Ken and Company received a commission to act as a facilitators of the program. The next one that we have is implementation. So implementation is a noun. It is the process of putting decision or plan into effect or execution. So in other words, it means putting into action. Example, the implementation of no ID, no entry policy will start on Monday. So every students are expected to wear their IDs so they can get inside the school premises. The next one that we have is liberalize. So liberalize is a verb. It means remove or lessen restrictions. To be liberalized means to have more freedom or lesser control, for instance, the state over economic activities. So if it is liberalized, the state have lesser control over economic activities. That's an example. And to use it into sentence, the country's immigration policies have begun to liberalize. So it means that the policies in the immigration have become less strict. So the last one that we have is secularize. So secularize is a verb that means dissociate or separate from religious or spiritual concerns. So the best way to explain secularize or secularization is the separation of the church and the state. So this means that the church no longer have a political power over the state, or the state is no longer in control of the church. If we could remember, during Hispanic era, the state is under the great influence of the church. So to use it in a sentence, the government secularized the public schools. So this means that public schools are non-sectarian, unlike Holy Cross, Holy Spirit, Holy Child, San Pedro, and other sectarian schools that is run by priests or nuns. So that was all the terms that we will encounter as we will discuss the history on Philippine education. So I hope you learn a lot from me, and I hope there are terms that adds on your vocabulary that would help you understand our discussion at ease. So once again, thank you for listening and have a good day.